Darkness, silence, you alone. Winners and quitters start from the same place, both exhausted, both doubting themselves, but only one side keeps going. I have been there, in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, thinking I have lost. Then a small voice whispered, "Get up." I listened, and the next day, everything changed. 10 chapters, 10 principles. Each principle, a bullet. Put them together, and you have an arsenal to win in any situation. I know, you have lost focus when it mattered most. You have walked away when the finish line was in sight. Your hands have shaken when pressure wrapped around your throat. Old habits have dragged you back to the starting line. If you are here, it is not an accident. You are ready to break every limit, ready to endure pain, to become unstoppable. From this moment on, the game has changed, and you will never be the same again. Chapter 1. Master your morning to own your day. You do not lose an entire day because of one big mistake. You lose it in the morning. The way you spend the first 60 minutes determines the next 23 hours. If you let your morning slip away without direction, do not be surprised when the whole day turns into a mess. Let us be real here. What do most people do the moment they open their eyes? They grab their phone. Suddenly, they are drowning in messages, emails, social media, negative news. Your brain has just woken up, and you are already throwing it into a hurricane of information. You start thinking about problems before you even think about your goals. You let other people decide your emotions before the day has even begun. And what happens then? You lose control of your mind. You spend the day reacting instead of leading. You get distracted. Your focus weakens. Negative emotions follow you all the way to the evening. Think back for a moment. There were days when you started with great energy. You got things done. You felt like you were setting the pace of life. But there were also days when by 9 in the morning your mind already felt drained. Not because you worked too hard, but because you let your mind be dragged around from the very moment you woke up. But hold on. The good news is you can take back control. You do not need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to change the first hour. Just 3 steps. They sound simple, but if you stay consistent, they will transform the way you live. Step 1. Do not touch your phone during the first 60 minutes. Why? Because when you open your phone, you open the door to the entire world, and that world cares far less about you than you do. Every notification is a pair of scissors, cutting through your line of focus. Every news headline is a heavy stone, weighing down your mind before you even step out of bed. Ask yourself, do I really need to know what people posted the second I open my eyes? If the answer is no, keep that time for yourself. Here is a small tip. Leave your phone in another room before you sleep, or use a mechanical alarm clock. The next morning, you will feel your mind so much lighter. I once gave this challenge to a group of my students for 30 days. No phone for the first hour of the morning. The first day, everyone felt restless, like a part of their body was missing. By the 3rd day, that feeling began to fade. They had time to drink water, breathe, exercise. They started planning their day. By the 10th day, one person told me, "I cannot believe I used to let other people decide how my morning felt." And by the end of the challenge, most of them said, "My mornings now are my favorite time of the day." Step 2, anchor your mind with a habit. A day without an anchor is like a boat drifting in the open sea. The wind and waves will toss it in any direction. You need a mental anchor to start your day. Write down 3 goals, say them out loud, feel them as if they are already done, or sit quietly for 5 minutes, breathe deeply, listen to your heartbeat, remind yourself who you want to become. Some people read an inspiring page from a book. Some pray. Some write in a journal. The point is not what you choose. It is that you choose with intention. I remember meeting a fitness coach in Singapore. He had an unshakable morning ritual: wake up at 5 o'clock, drink a glass of warm water, read his personal life principles out loud in front of the mirror. I asked, "Why do you do that every day for 15 years straight?" He smiled, "Because I never want a single day of mine to be steered by someone else. If I am not the one steering, someone else will be." Step 3. Wake up your body to wake up your brain. Your body is like a power switch. If you do not turn it on, your brain will stay sluggish. Take a brisk 10-minute walk. Hold a plank for 2 minutes. Breathe deeply until your lungs are full of air. When your body moves, blood flows faster. Oxygen reaches your brain. Your feel-good hormones kick in. A friend of mine is the CEO of a tech company. His schedule is packed, but every morning he still takes 15 minutes to exercise. He told me, "If I skip it, I pay the price all day. I lose focus in meetings. I lose patience when solving problems. And by the end of the day, I am exhausted but have achieved nothing worth mentioning." Think about it. Every morning you have 2 choices. 1, start the day proactively, with a clear mind and an energized body. 2, start the day reactively, caught in what others want you to see, want you to do. That choice may seem small, but it decides the entire direction of your day. And remember, habits will protect you on the days you are at your weakest. There will be mornings when you do not feel like it. There will be days when you are tired, busy, under pressure. But if you have made protecting your morning a personal principle, you will do it no matter how you feel. Discipline will take you where motivation cannot. Picture this. Every morning is a bow. If you pull it in the right direction, the arrow will fly far and hit the target. But if you let it go slack or pull it off course, your whole path will drift away. Here is a truth very few will tell you. You cannot fix a bad day with a few good hours in the afternoon. The only way is to not let it become a bad day in the first place. Your morning is either a launch pad or a deep pit. Which one will you choose? If you choose the launch pad, you have to build it every single day. No one else will do it for you. No technology will replace you. No miracle will save you if you do not start. Tomorrow morning when you open your eyes, do not grab your phone. Grab the controls. Lead your morning, lead your day, and then lead your life. Every big victory starts with winning that first hour. If you want to keep this power for the rest of the day, get ready for the next chapter. How to protect your focus from every distraction. Chapter 2, protect your focus from distractions. You do not lose because you lack talent. You lose because you let your focus leak minute by minute. Every time you get distracted, your brain needs 23 minutes to get back into rhythm. You think it only takes a few seconds. You are wrong. If you do not protect your focus, every plan you have will remain just words on paper. Take a look at your typical workday. You open your laptop. You intend to do one task, but then you open a few other tabs. A Facebook notification pops up. Your phone vibrates with a message. A new email arrives. You pause your current task. You read the news. You reply to the message. You scroll for a few more minutes. And when you return, you forget where you left off. That is why you miss deadlines. That is why you work all day, yet feel like you accomplished nothing. You are not exhausted because you work too much. You are exhausted because you are interrupted too much. I once coached a group of startup employees. They were young, smart, and full of energy. But after 3 months, their results were almost at a standstill. When I observed, I realized the problem was not their skills. It was the fact that they allowed themselves to be interrupted dozens of times every hour. One person was coding while checking Instagram. Another was writing an email while replying to a group chat. Another was analyzing data while keeping YouTube music on and scrolling through the comments. I told them, you are trying to run a marathon, but every 5 minutes you stop for coffee chat and sightseeing. No one can run like that. No one can reach the finish line like that. Picture this. Focus is like a glass filled with water. Every notification, every vibration is a drop spilling out. You think it is fine? By the end of the day, the glass is empty. Energy gone. Motivation gone. And you end the day with that frustrating feeling. Busy all day, but nothing really done. If you want to protect your focus, you must treat it like your most valuable asset. And to protect it, you need 3 steps. Step 1. Turn off every distraction you can control. This is the first fence that guards your focus. If that fence is weak, the inside will be attacked constantly. When your phone sends a notification, you do not just lose a few seconds reading it. You also lose the time it takes to pull your brain back to work. Research shows, after a single interruption, you need an average of 23 minutes to regain your original flow. Now do the math. If you are interrupted 10 times a day, you lose almost 4 hours just trying to get back on track. That is half your day gone. I once worked with a marketing team. When I asked, how many times do you check your phone in a day? No one knew exactly. We installed an app to count. The result, on average, each person touched their phone over 100 times a day. And they wondered why they always felt like they never had enough time. Turn your phone into a tool, not a master. Switch off unnecessary notifications. Use Do Not Disturb mode while working. Schedule specific times to check messages and emails. If someone truly needs you, they will call. And if they do not call, it is not urgent. Step 2, break your work into focus blocks. Focus is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. But if you try to work 4 to 5 hours straight, your brain will get tired and the quality will drop sharply. Break your time into blocks. For example, the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focus, 5 minutes of rest. 4 blocks like that, then take a longer break. Or deep work, 90 minutes of deep focus, 15 minutes of rest. The key is, during that focus block, no social media, no emails, no side conversations. I once used this method when writing a book. Every morning I set a 90-minute timer. During those 90 minutes, nothing could interrupt me. The result, in just 2 months, I finished the draft. Something that used to take me over a year. Step 3. Create a distraction-proof environment. Have you noticed, when your desk is messy, your mind feels messy too? Your environment mirrors your state of mind. If you want to focus, clean your desk. Keep only what you need for the task at hand. Everything else, put it away. I once coached a design student. Her desk was stacked with papers, books, snacks. When she cleared it up, she said, I was shocked at how much faster I worked and how the pressure seemed to vanish. A quiet environment is not always available, but you can create one. If you are at home, choose one corner for work only. If you are at a cafe, find a spot with fewer people passing by and sit with your back to the door to reduce distractions. And here is something I want you to remember. Focus does not appear out of thin air. You have to build it. You have to guard it. I know some people will say, but my job requires quick responses. Be clear about this. Quick response does not mean instantly reacting to everything. You can still reply on time, but in the time slots you choose. If you let other people control your work schedule, you will become the on-call operator for the entire world. Look at professional athletes. When they compete, They do not let the crowds cheering distract them. They do not glance up at the stands. They lock their eyes on the goal. You must do the same. Lock yourself into your task. Block out everything unrelated. 1 hour of deep focus can produce results that an entire distracted day never could. Try 1 day without social media while working. 1 day with all notifications off. 1 day working in focus blocks. You will be surprised by your productivity and the sense of mental clarity. When you control your focus, you will feel like time has doubled. Tasks finish faster. The quality improves. And you still have energy left to live, enjoy, and invest in what truly matters. If Chapter 1 helped you start your day strong, then Chapter 2 is the shield that keeps you in the race. But that is still not enough, because there will be hard days, moments when you want to give up, times when you face real challenges. And that is why, in Chapter 3, I will show you how to build the habit of facing difficulties instead of running away. That is when you truly develop real strength. Chapter 3, train the habit of facing difficulties. You are not defeated by challenges. You are defeated by the habit of running away. Difficult things do not kill you. They teach you how to live stronger. Every time you step back, you cut down your own strength. Let us be honest with each other. How many times have you seen a tough task and said, I will do it tomorrow, I will get to it later, I will wait until I am ready? Do you know what happens tomorrow? It is harder. Later. You miss the opportunity. Waiting until you are ready means you never start. The more you avoid it, the bigger it becomes. The longer you wait, the more it swallows you whole. I once worked with a young entrepreneur. He had the chance to land the biggest contract of his career, but to win it, he had to present to a board of people he feared. On the meeting day, he found an excuse to postpone. 1 month later, the contract went to a competitor. He told me if only I had stood up that day. But if only will not help you win. Only I did it will change your life. If you want to become stronger, you must face the hard things, not just once, but until it becomes a habit. Do you know why people often avoid difficult things? It is not because they are weak. It is because they have trained their brain to run. Your brain is wired to prioritize safety. It hates uncertainty. It hates pressure. It hates burning too much energy. So when you stand before something hard, your brain whispers, let us do it tomorrow. Start later. It is not urgent. But every time you listen, you pay a high price. That price is called confidence. Step 1, identify the hardest thing first each day. I call it the morning frog. Because Brian Tracy once said, if you have to eat a live frog, it is best to do it first thing in the morning. A hard task is like that frog. The longer you wait, the uglier it becomes in your mind. The more you think about it, the scarier it feels. When you tackle the hardest thing first, you send your brain a signal, I am in control. You trigger a chain reaction of positivity, more confidence, more energy, more decisiveness for the rest of the day. I once coached a sales team. We made just one change call the most difficult client first thing in the morning. At first, everyone was nervous, but after 1 week, their sales increased by 40%. Because they no longer carried that weight all day, they swallowed the frog while it was still warm. Step 2, break the challenge down. The biggest fear comes from what is vague. When you think write a book, your brain immediately sees it as overwhelming. But if you say write 300 words today, it becomes a manageable step. I remember preparing a 90-minute keynote. If I sat there thinking I have to create 90 minutes of content, I would be paralyzed. Instead, I broke it down 10 minutes for the opening, 20 minutes for real-life stories, 30 minutes for technical guidance, 20 minutes for Q&A, 10 minutes for a powerful ending. Suddenly, the challenge became clear and doable. Remember this: every challenge is a wall. You do not need to knock down the whole wall at once. You just need to remove one brick at a time. Step 3. Train the reflex of going straight in. This is a survival skill, because if you give fear time, it will grow. One rule I live by: count 3 to 2, 1, and move. Do not think more. Do not give your brain a chance to build a fence of excuses. One of my students used to be terrified of making sales calls. I told him, whenever your hand touches the phone and you feel fear, count 3, 2, 1 and dial. After just 2 weeks, him doubled the number of calls he made each day. And more importantly, he no longer felt the fear he once did. It is like standing at the edge of a pool. The water is cold. You hesitate. The longer you stand there, the colder it feels. But if you jump in right away, 5 seconds later you realize it is not as cold as I thought. That is the power of acting immediately. No one is born loving difficult things. That love is built from habit, from stepping forward when every cell in your body wants to step back. And here is the truth: challenges do not disappear. They will come again and again until you learn the lesson they carry. If you do not face them today, you will meet them again tomorrow, only bigger. I remember climbing a mountain in Nepal. It was cold, the wind was strong, and the slope was steep. Many people in our group gave up at the 3rd checkpoint. I wanted to quit too, but I knew if I stopped here the next time, I would fear climbing even more. I would stamp it into my brain I cannot do it. So I decided to take one more step, then another. And when I reached the top, I did not just conquer the mountain, I conquered myself. Facing hard things is not recklessness. It is a life strategy. Because every time you succeed, you expand your comfort zone. And the wider your comfort zone, the fewer things you have to fear. No one grows from ease. You grow stronger because you walk through the fire, not because you stand and watch it. What you avoid today will be what you regret tomorrow. Every time you choose to face instead of flee, you are sending yourself the signal, I am capable. And every time you avoid it, you are sending yourself the signal, I am not capable. The question is, which signal do you want to program into your brain? Let me be clear, life will not get lighter. Challenges will not vanish on their own. So do not expect that. Train yourself to become stronger. Running away will never save you. Facing it will change you. Tomorrow, when you see something difficult, do not turn away. Do not push it to another day. Do not wait to be ready. Step into it, even if your heart is racing, even if you do not know the outcome. Because in the moment you step in, you are already stronger. Choose the hard thing, because the hard thing is where you will find your real strength. And if Chapter 3 helps you build the reflex to face challenges, then Chapter 4 will be the weapon that helps you finish what you start. Because facing it is the beginning, but finishing it is what creates victory. Chapter 4, finish what you start. Starting is not the hard part. Finishing is. And only those who finish win. The world does not pay for ideas. The world pays for results. No one remembers the person who started. Everyone remembers the one who crossed the finish line. Look back at your own life. How many times have you started with sky-high excitement, bought a brand new notebook, made a plan, promised yourself you would see it through? And then what happened 1 week later? Motivation faded. 1 month later, you quit. You can start 10 projects, but if you do not finish any of them, you are still in the exact same place as before. Unfinished work equals 0 value, even if you have completed 99%. I once coached a startup founder. He constantly came up with new ideas. Each one had great potential, but he never took them across the finish line. After 3 years, he sat in front of me and said, "I feel like I have done so much, yet I have nothing." The problem was not a lack of creativity, it was a lack of finishing power. Step 1, narrow the scope, the less but sharper rule. Doing fewer things but taking them to completion is far better than doing many things and abandoning them halfway. It sounds simple, but most people cannot do it. You want it all, you want it fast, and you end up dragging yourself into a cycle of unfinished work. Choose no more than 3 of your most important tasks. Cut out the rest. Do not feel bad about it, because every new task you keep is an old task slowly dying. Have you ever seen a chef try to cook 10 dishes at the same time? The result, not a single dish turns out right. Your life works the same way. Whenever you take on too much, you divide your energy, you divide your focus. The result is that everything remains incomplete. One entrepreneur I coached always started new projects before finishing the old ones. She believed multitasking would make her move faster. In reality, she had to redo things over and over because each project only reached 70% before she abandoned it. When I forced her to cut down to just 2 main projects and pour all her energy into them, the results came so fast it shocked her. Her revenue tripled in 6 months simply because she stopped scattering her efforts and focused on crossing the finish line. Every task you keep is a promise to yourself. Keep fewer so you can keep them fully. Step 2, set a finish line. Make completion a habit. No deadline equals no urgency to act. You will stretch things out forever. A deadline is the enemy of procrastination, but the ally of the winner. Set a finish date, set clear milestones. Put them somewhere you will see every single day. Break a big goal into smaller checkpoints. For example, instead of saying finish the website in 2 months, say finish the home page in 1 week. Finish the product page the next week. Each time you hit a milestone, you feel yourself getting closer to the finish line, and that gives you momentum. I once helped a film crew complete a project that had been delayed for over a year in just 4 months. We set 12 milestones, and for each one they had to report publicly to the whole team. No one wanted to be the one who caused delays. The right kind of pressure creates speed. No finish date equals no real start date. Step 3, the no new open rule. Break the cycle of incompletion. Do not build a new castle when the first one is still just a foundation. Do you know why so many people never finish anything? Because whenever they get bored, they run to something new for that fresh spark of excitement. Excitement is the fuel to start. Discipline is the fuel to finish. You must learn to push through the boring phase, because any big task has a stage where nothing feels exciting. A marathon runner does not quit when the thrill of starting fades. He keeps going because he knows each step brings him closer to the finish line. I remember one student. He wanted to start a personal blog. In the first week, he wrote 3 posts. By the second week, only 1 post. By the third week, none. When I asked why, he said I lost interest. I told him no one wins because they keep their excitement. Winners are the ones who finish the road. We set a rule. No new ideas until this week's post is done. 2 months later, he had written 15 posts, more than the entire previous year combined. Starting something new before finishing the old is digging a hole for your results to fall into. You can start slower than others. You can be less skilled at the beginning. But if you finish, you still win. There are no rewards for quitters, no medals for those who stop halfway, no honor for unfinished projects. Every time you complete something, no matter how small, you lay a brick in the fortress of your confidence. Every time you quit, you pull one out. Big results are built from small completions. You do not need to start more. You need to finish more. Finishing is not always fun. Sometimes it is tiring. Sometimes it is boring. Sometimes there are no fireworks. But it is how you prove your worth. Because the ending is what turns effort into achievement. I remember writing my first book. By the third month, I was so tired I did not even want to touch the keyboard. But I forced myself to write every day. Even just 500 words. On the day I finished the manuscript, I did not feel fireworks. I felt relief. And when the book was published, people only saw the result. No one knew about the days I wanted to quit. Every time you finish something, you send yourself the message, I am reliable. I keep my promises to myself. And every time you leave something undone, you tell yourself, I am not consistent. Do not collect projects, collect results. Many start, few finish, be in that few. Tomorrow, before you open something new, ask yourself, have I finished the old one yet? If not, go back, finish it, because that is the only way to turn dreams into reality. If Chapter 4 teaches you the power of finishing, then Chapter 5 will be the key to staying calm and thinking clearly under pressure. Because it is not enough to just reach the finish line, you need to reach it strong. Chapter 5, stay calm and think clearly under pressure. Pressure does not kill you. Losing your composure does. In a moment of high tension, the calm one wins. Have you ever witnessed something like this, a tense meeting, a phone call delivering bad news, an unexpected problem that throws everything into chaos? Some people yell, some point fingers, some stay silent but their minds are spinning in panic. And in the middle of that storm, there is one person still sitting upright, eyes steady, voice slow, clear and firm. That person is often the one who leads the team out of the crisis. Not because they are smarter, but because they kept a cool head. Most of us do not do that. When pressure hits, you react immediately, with emotion, with instinct, not with reason. You make decisions while your head is full of fear and anger. And 99% of the time, you will regret those decisions. Pressure is not the enemy. Pressure is simply the test of whether you can control yourself. I remember working with John, the director of a logistics company. In one night, his shipping system completely shut down. Hundreds of orders were stuck. Employees were calling nonstop. Customers were threatening to cancel contracts. I asked John, "How do you feel?" He replied, "I feel like running out of the office right now." But he did not. He stopped, took 3 deep breaths, wrote down what needed to be handled in order of priority. By the next morning, 80% of the problem was resolved. A storm does not sink a ship if the captain keeps a steady hand on the wheel. Pressure will never disappear. You cannot live a life avoiding it. The only thing you can do is build your resistance. I call this mental armor. No one is born with it. You have to train it day by day in small situations. Here is an important principle. You cannot control everything, but you can always control yourself. Imagine you are driving and another car cuts you off, almost hitting you. Most people's instinct is to honk, curse, and stay angry the entire drive. But none of that changes the situation. Worse, it distracts you, making another accident more likely. James, one of my students in New York, used to have this habit. Whenever someone drove badly, it ruined his entire day. I taught him one simple technique. The moment it happens, say to yourself, release. Refocus on driving safely. 3 weeks later, James told me, I no longer let a stranger ruin my whole day. Other people can light the match, but you decide whether to pour gasoline. Step 1, stop, breathe, observe. When pressure hits, do not react immediately. Stop. Breathe deeply. Observe. The first 5 seconds are the golden moment that determines whether you take control or get swept away. Pause for 5 seconds. Inhale deeply through your nose. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth. In those 5 seconds, you interrupt your brain's panic loop. You give yourself a chance to think instead of just react. Many people lose their composure because they act before their brain has processed the situation. You need to give yourself 3 deep breaths to cut off your body's panic signal. Step 2. Separate emotion from the event. You must understand emotion is just your personal translation of an event, not the absolute truth. Sarah, a project manager in London, once received a harsh complaint email from a client. She was about to respond immediately, her tone defensive and irritated. I told her, read it as if it were sent to someone else. You will feel less personally attacked. When Sarah did that, she realized the client did not dislike her. They were simply anxious about the deadline. She replied professionally and the client stayed. Emotion is the cloud. Truth is the sky. The cloud can cover it, but it cannot erase it. Step 3. Choose one simple action to regain control. Big pressure makes you feel like you must solve everything at once. That is why so many people freeze. Instead, ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do right now? Michael, a rescue worker, once told me, when I arrive at an accident scene, I do not think about 10 things at once. I just think find the person most seriously injured and help them first. Then move to the next step. Small action restores control. Control restores calm. Staying calm is not about sitting still and ignoring the problem. Staying calm means keeping the power to choose your next move. A surfer does not try to stop the waves. They learn to ride them. The bigger the waves, the higher their skill must be. Pressure works the same way. The better you get, the bigger the waves you will face. If you can only stay calm when the water is still, you will never leave the shore. I encourage all my students to practice slowing their reactions. When someone says something that upsets you, do not answer right away. When you receive bad news, do not make a decision immediately. Give yourself 10 seconds or even 10 minutes to let your mind settle. Those few seconds can save you from a mistake that lasts for years. Calm is a strategic skill. It helps you see opportunities others miss because they are panicking. It makes you the person people want to follow in a crisis. Most importantly, it protects you from being sabotaged by your own emotions. You will face pressure, not just once, not just at work, but in your family, your relationships, your health. Each time you have 2 choices, let the pressure control you or control your own response. Train calm like you train a muscle. Every day when you encounter small irritations, traffic jams, delays, losing something, practice, stop, breathe, observe. Your calm muscle will grow. When the big pressure comes, you will be ready. Calm is not weakness. Calm is ultimate strength. When everyone else loses control, you hold the power. If Chapter 5 gives you the ability to keep a cool head under pressure, then Chapter 6 will give you the key to maintaining discipline and repeating your core principles every single day. Because calm helps you stand firm, but discipline is what carries you far. Chapter 6, Maintaining Discipline When Your Emotions Are Low. Emotions are guests. Discipline is the host. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will lose to the one who acts even when they feel nothing at all. Everyone starts with high energy. First day at the gym, you are on fire. First week learning a new skill, you are excited. First month following a work plan, you never miss a session. But then what happens? You get tired, you get lazy, you lose interest, and you quit. The problem is not that you have no motivation. The problem is that you depend on motivation. And motivation always disappears when you need it the most. When it rains, when friends invite you out, When results are not coming, you let your emotions decide your actions. The result, plans fall apart. Habits break. Goals get pushed endlessly into the future. If you let emotions take the wheel, you will never reach your destination. I once coached a marathon runner named Alex. He told me I wake up every day at 5 to train, but on freezing dark mornings with rain hitting my face, I do not want to get out of bed. I asked, "So why do you still train?" He smiled because I do not negotiate with my training schedule. If it is written down, I do it. That is the no negotiation principle. Emotions are not allowed to sit at the table with discipline. Step 1, define your no negotiation rules. Choose one or two of the most important tasks each day and do them no matter what. Not because you are in the mood, not because you feel good, but because they are non-negotiable, like eating and breathing. If you give your brain a chance to argue, it will win 9 times out of 10. Kill that chance with a clear rule, do it. No debate. Be honest with me. How many times have you abandoned a plan just because you did not feel like it today? You said, "I will do it tomorrow." Then tomorrow became next week, then next month, then never. That is the trap of emotion. Emotion always pushes you toward the easiest path. Discipline forces you onto the right path, even when it is harder. I once worked with David, a freelance photographer in Chicago. He set a goal to post one high-quality photo every day for 90 days to build his personal brand. The first week, amazing shots. Second week, he started feeling tired. Third week, heavy rain clients canceling shoots. He wanted to stop. I asked David, "Do you want to be a great photographer or just take photos when everything is perfect?" He understood. That day, instead of shooting outdoors, he created an indoor series with what he had. The quality was still high. The 90-day streak stayed unbroken. Discipline is doing the work even when circumstances are against you. Here is what you must know: emotions are temporary, results are permanent. Tomorrow you will forget how tired you felt, but you will not forget that you missed an opportunity because you quit. Step 2, reduce the size of the action. Many people quit because they think, if I cannot work out for 60 minutes, I might as well skip it. Wrong. If you cannot do the full version, do the small version. Alex had days when he ran only 2 kilometers instead of 10, but he still ran. Because discipline is not about doing more. Discipline is about keeping the streak alive. Lose the streak, lose momentum. Keep the streak, keep moving forward. Use the 5-minute rule. When you do not want to do something, tell yourself, just do 5 minutes. Most of the time, after 5 minutes, you will keep going without forcing yourself. Chris, a programmer in San Francisco, used this rule to learn a new language. Some days he was exhausted after work, but he opened his book and studied for 5 minutes. The result, 1 year later, he spoke basic Spanish. Not because he studied for hours at a time, but because he did not miss a day. Step 3, create daily proof of victory. Discipline is built on belief. Belief is built on proof. Every time you finish a task, no matter how small you are, adding a brick to the wall of your confidence. The more bricks, the stronger the wall. Write it down. Mark it. Look back after 30 days and you will see a chain of wins, and you will not want to break it. Here is an image I often give my students. Imagine you are rowing a boat in the middle of the ocean. Some days the water's calm. You row easily. Some days the waves are huge. You are exhausted. But if you stop rowing every time the waves get big, you will stay stuck out there forever. Discipline is continuing to row even slowly so you still get closer to shore. Another trick, create an environment that forces you to stay disciplined. If you want to work out, put your shoes by the door. If you want to read, leave the book on your pillow. If you want to write, open the document on your laptop before bed. John, an entrepreneur in Sydney, told me I wanted to work out every morning, but I kept skipping. I bought a gym membership near my house and made my best friend my workout partner. If I skip, he texts me, "Get to the gym." Result: he kept the habit for 6 straight months. When your emotions are low, you need a trigger to start the action. Do not wait for feeling ready. Create a starting ritual, a small act that tells your brain it is time to do this. Examples: want to write, open your laptop and type 1 sentence. Want to work out, turn on your gym playlist. Want to study, make a cup of coffee and sit at your desk. Winners are not always excited, but they always show up. You do not have to be the best. You just have to not disappear. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. Without discipline, goals remain dreams. If you only work when you feel good, you will miss 70% of your opportunities to improve. Because the truth is, most of the time, emotions will not be on your side. Let discipline be your most loyal companion. Discipline does not betray you. Discipline does not disappear because you are sad. Discipline does not care if it rains or shines. I want you to engrave this in your mind. Emotions change by the hour. Discipline lasts forever if you nurture it. And when emotions sink, discipline will pull you back up. Now imagine this: if you stay disciplined for 365 straight days. Even if you only make small progress each day, you will be completely different from who you are today. Do not let emotions control your schedule. Your schedule must control your emotions. This chapter gives you the tools to act regardless of how you feel. But in Chapter 7, I will show you how to turn these discipline principles into automatic instinct, so you no longer have to push yourself every day. That is when discipline becomes part of who you are. And when that happens, nothing can stop you. Chapter 7, break old habits, build new ones. Bad habits do not disappear on their own. You have to break them. You cannot build a new house on a rotten foundation, and you cannot build a new life if your foundation is made of old habits. Many people want to change. They add good habits, they exercise, they read, they learn new skills, but they still stay up late, still eat poorly, still waste hours scrolling social media. The result: the good habits cannot take root because the soil is already full of weeds. You are trying to plant a beautiful garden on decayed land. You cannot run forward if you are still dragging an anchor. I once coached Michael, an entrepreneur in New York. He wanted to increase his productivity, but he kept the habit of scrolling on his phone for 2 hours every morning before work. He told me, I have tried adding good things, meditation, exercise, but it still does not work. I told him, Michael, the problem is not that you have not added enough good habits. The problem is that you have not killed the bad one. That day, he deleted every social media app from his phone. In its place, he opened his Kindle and read for 15 minutes every morning. After 30 days, his productivity doubled. Step 1, identify the root habit to break. Not every bad habit matters equally. Some are the roots that trigger a chain of bad consequences. Staying up late, waking up late, skipping breakfast, low energy all day, scrolling in the morning, brain fatigue, procrastination, poor work quality. Write down your 3 worst habits. Pick the one with the biggest impact. Break that one first. Cut the root, not just the leaves. The problem for most people is not that they do not know which bad habits are killing them. They know, they just hesitate to break them. Why? Because old habits are like an old chair you have sat in for years. It is worn out, it is ugly, it hurts your back, but it is familiar. and humans cling to what is familiar, even if it causes pain. I once worked with Jason, a marketing professional in Los Angeles. He wanted to wake up early to work out, but for 5 years he still kept the habit of going to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning. He tried alarm clocks, strong coffee, even working out in the afternoon, but failed. I told him, Jason, you are trying to build a new building on rotten ground. You cannot keep staying up late and expect to have a high-energy morning. His solution was simple: replace his late-night habit with an end-of-day routine. At 9:30 p.m., he turned off all electronics, switched to warm lights, and read 10 pages of a paper book. At first it was uncomfortable, but after 3 weeks his body clock adjusted. Now he goes to bed before 11 and wakes up at 6 without an alarm. You must understand, when you break an old habit, you free up mental capacity. It is like deleting a heavy background app from your phone. Your brain suddenly has more energy to build something new. If you do not, every good habit you try to add will get crowded out and die early. Step 2, replace. Do not just remove. The brain hates loss. If you only remove without replacing, you will miss it and go back to it. Smoking, replace with chewing gum or a 5-minute run. Snacking, replace with drinking water or eating fruit. Mindless scrolling, replace with reading or listening to a 5-minute podcast. Give your brain a new toy so it does not search for the old one. I remember Sarah, a designer in London. She wanted to quit the habit of drinking soda every afternoon. Instead of forcing herself to just resist, she replaced it with homemade iced tea. The result: she did not feel deprived. She actually felt more refreshed. Use the strategy of cutting off the source that feeds the bad habit. Habits survive on environment. Change the environment. The bad habit struggles to exist. Want to stop eating sweets? Do not bring them home. Want to quit scrolling on your phone in bed? Charge your phone in another room. Want to cut evening coffee? Do not buy coffee after 3 p.m. One of my students, Emily, wanted to stop checking email constantly while working. We set a rule: turn off email notifications. Check only twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. The result: after 1 week, she was finishing her work 2 hours earlier each day. Also, do not fall for the trap of "I can quit anytime." That is the line of someone who has never successfully quit. Bad habits have a way of sneaking back in. If you leave even a small gap, they will return stronger. You do not have to fight a bad habit forever. You just have to be strong for 3 to 6 months until the new habit fully replaces it. Step 3. Attach new habits to existing ones. This is called habit stacking. You attach the new behavior to one that is already established so you do not have to think about it. After brushing your teeth in the morning, drink a glass of water. After lunch, walk for 10 minutes. After shutting down your work computer, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Each new habit is like a train car linking to an existing train, and you just let it run. Another powerful way to build new habits is to create immediate rewards. The brain loves quick rewards. If your new habit only has long-term benefits, it will be harder to maintain in the beginning. Want to run every morning? After running, give yourself 10 minutes to listen to your favorite podcast. Want to read? After reading, allow yourself a great cup of coffee. I remember Robert, a software engineer in Seattle. He wanted to plank for 5 minutes every day. Each time he finished, he marked a big red X on his wall calendar. Seeing the chain of red X's grow was a victory in itself. He told me, "I do not plank because I love planking. I do it because I love watching that chain get longer." New habits do not have to be big. They have to be consistent. A small habit done every day beats a big habit done inconsistently. Start with 2 minutes of exercise. Start with 1 page of reading. Start with 1 glass of water in the morning, then increase over time. And remember, this breaking old habits is something you must do intentionally. If you do not break them, they will break you. Understand this: old habits are like chains. The longer you leave them, the tighter they hold. Every time you break one link, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. If you want to renew your life, start by renewing yourself. You are not defined by your old habits. You are defined by the habits you choose today. Each new action is a brick. Lay enough of them, and you will have an entirely new life. Here is the truth I want you to remember. You cannot change your life without changing your habits. You cannot change your habits without breaking the old ones. And you cannot break the old ones without replacing them with new ones. Start now. Pick your biggest bad habit. Kill it. Replace it. Attach the new behavior to your daily rhythm. Repeat every day, and one day you will realize you left your old self far behind. Chapter 7 helps you break the old and build the new. But in Chapter 8, I will show you how to accelerate your progress by optimizing your environment, turning everything around you into a force that pushes you forward, not holds you back. Because personal discipline is at its strongest when it is supported by the right environment. And when you have both, nothing can stop you. Chapter 8, do the right thing even when no one cares. Your true value is not measured by the number of people clapping for you. If you only do the right thing when someone is watching, you are not truly right. I have seen too many people like this. They work hard when the boss is in the room. They are laser focused when the camera's on. They act kind when there is a crowd to witness it. But when the lights go out, they return to their old self. And that is why they never break through. You must understand this. Doing the right thing when everyone is watching is easy. Doing the right thing when no one cares is real. If you need the spotlight to live right, the darkness will swallow you. The problem is, most people do not realize they are living for the eyes of others. You may be working hard, but deep down, you are only doing it to be praised. You go to the gym hoping someone notices. You post your new achievement waiting for likes and comments. You act kind, but you expect people to return the favor. And when the reaction does not come, your motivation disappears. That is why so many quit halfway. They say, I tried, but no one cared. Wrong. The problem is not no one cared. The problem is that you were doing it to be cared about. Look at Mark, a boxing coach in Chicago. He opens his class at 5 every morning with only 1 or 2 students. No social media posts, no bragging about results. Yet he still shows up, still straps on the gloves, still teaches. I asked Mark, why do you keep going when no one is watching? He smiled. I do not coach for the audience. I coach because it is in my blood. You must train yourself to self-cheer. No applause, no spotlight, no witnesses. Just you and the work you choose to do. I call this the empty gym principle. If you only train when the gym is packed, you will skip when it is empty. If you only give your all when people are watching, you will quit when no one is. Want to win in the long term? Learn to enjoy the empty gym. A novelist named Lisa once told me, my success did not come from my best-selling book. It came from 10 years of writing every day when no one was reading. That is the power of discipline when no one cares. When you train in the dark long enough, you create a light from within. A light no one can switch off. A light no one can control. Do not let the stage lights decide whether you shine. Become the light itself. Step 1, define your core values. If you are not clear on who you are, you will live for the eyes of others. You will change your colors every time you walk into a new room. You will follow the crowd even when that crowd is headed in the wrong direction. Write down 3 principles you will never break. No matter where you are, who you are with, or what situation you face, this is your compass that keeps your back straight, even when no one is watching. Step 2, train in the dark. You want to be strong, you must train without applause. You must fight without cheers. A friend of mine, Alex, is a guitarist. He practices 4 hours a day in an empty room, no audience. For years, no one knew his name. But when his chance came, he walked on stage and played as if he had been there his whole life. Why? Because he had trained in the dark long enough that the light did not blind him. Once I visited the gym of David, a weightlifter. No music, no audience, just the sound of steel hitting the floor. I asked David, "Do you not get bored?" He looked at me, sweat dripping. Boredom is the enemy of the weak. The strong turn boredom into an opportunity to forge steel. Step 3, measure by progress, not recognition. Recognition is not in your control. Progress is. At the end of each week, ask yourself, how many times did I live by my principles? Not how many people liked my post. Your true value is not in the applause. It is in what you do when no one is clapping. Do not wait for someone to hand you a certificate to live right. Sign your own declaration. Prove it to yourself before you prove it to anyone else. And know this, when you do the right thing long enough, even when no one is watching, the world will eventually notice. But by then, recognition will just be a bonus. The real value you already had. I can remember 3 times in my life when I failed because I lived to please others. The first I took on a project just to impress my boss, and it collapsed the moment he left the company. The second I trained obsessively just to look good in photos, and stopped the moment no one was following my progress. The third I said what people wanted to hear, and lost myself in the silence. I learned that if you do it for others, you will stop when they stop. If you do it for yourself, you will never stop. The strongest people do not need to prove themselves. They just live right. Day after day, year after year. No lights, no stage. Imagine you are a tree. When you are a seed, no one sees you. When you sprout underground, no one cares. But you still drink water, still grow roots, still reach upward. And one day you break through, stronger than anyone imagined. My message for you is simple. Do the right thing when no one cares. Train when no one is watching. Improve when no one is praising you. Because that is how you build real strength. Now, you know how to stand tall even when no one cares. But there is one more thing. In Chapter 9, I will show you how to handle criticism and turn it into fuel to keep moving forward. Because when you live right, not everyone will support you, and you need to know how to turn opposition into power. Chapter 9. Repeat the basics every day until they become instinct. You do not lose because you lack technique. You lose because you ignore the basics. Hear me clearly. Winners do not search for a new trick every day. They sharpen what everyone knows, but few have the patience to master. I once knew a fighter named Ryan. He had a powerful punch, but he ignored his balance. One slip, and he went down. The basics betrayed him, not because they were weak, but because he abandoned them. Face this truth, the basics are not boring. Forgetting them is dangerous. You skip proper breathing when you run. You skip reviewing safety rules when you drive. You skip checking your numbers in business. Cracks begin in the smallest places. One day, it all collapses. Step 1, choose your 3 core basics. Not 10, not 20, just 3. Write them down. Commit to them. Make them your life rules. These are the pillars that keep you standing when everything else falls. The basics will never betray you. unless you betray them. Step 2, create a fixed schedule. Pick a time. Keep that time. No excuses. Want to make an action instinctive? Do it at the same time every day. Remember this. No fixed time, no habit, no instinct. Step 3, self-check and track. At the end of each week, ask, how many times did I do it right? Not how many people saw me do it well. If it feels too easy, raise the difficulty, but never drop the principle. I remember John, a pianist. Every morning he practiced the C major scale for 10 years straight. People asked, why not move on to harder pieces? He said, if I cannot play this perfectly, every other piece will break. Understand this, the basics are like breathing. You do not think about it, but if you stop, you die. Many think basics are for beginners. Wrong. The basics are for those who want to stay great forever. Special Forces soldiers. What do you think they train every day? Not exotic tactics. They practice holding their weapon, reloading, keeping their stance thousands of times until they can do it perfectly in the dark. I knew Michael, a 100-meter sprinter. He did not start practice by running at full speed. He started with his starting position over 50 times a day. When the race began, he did not think he exploded off the line. You can be smart, creative, full of ideas, but under pressure, you will not have time to think new. At that moment, your body and mind fall back to instinct. If your instinct is weak, you will break. If your instinct is strong, you will win. The basics are your internal code. Write it clean. Repeat it until you cannot get it wrong. I once trained a sales team. They wanted advanced closing techniques. I told them, before the advanced stuff, make 100 calls a week and perfect your opening line. 1 month later, their sales doubled. Not because of something new, but because they did the basics. Enough times to make them reflex. When you repeat your principles daily, you no longer have to try to remember. You live them. You breathe them. They become part of who you are. Imagine you are an archer. Every arrow hits the target, not because you took extra time to aim, but because you have stood in that position tens of thousands of times. The best do not ask, what new things should I practice today? They ask, how many times did I do the basics today? When you stop practicing the basics, you start declining without noticing. A business owner stops checking daily reports. A fighter stops practicing balance. A writer stops refining short, clean sentences. Decline does not hit immediately. It creeps. Then one day, you realize you have lost your edge. Remember this. New wins you today. Basics win you forever. I met Ethan, a software engineer. He had coded hundreds of projects, but every morning he still wrote "Hello World." Not to learn it, to remind himself everything starts here, and I will never forget it. You do not need complexity to be powerful. You need consistency. Consistency so strong it feels boring, but that boredom becomes unbreakable strength. The basics are like a foundation. You can build a castle high into the sky, but if the foundation is weak, one storm takes it all. The storm will come, and only those who hold to their basics every day will stand. Here is what I want you to do today. Write down your 3 basics. Pick a fixed time to do them. Measure them weekly. Repeat. Repeat until you cannot get them wrong. Repeat until people think you are too obsessed. When they think that, you know you are on the right path. Listen. When others look for shortcuts, you stick to the main road. When others skip warm-ups, you start with them. When others try to impress you, try to get it right. Because the basics do not need an audience. They need you, and only you. When your principles have become instinct, Bad days no longer scare you. Bad days only exist for those who have to think too hard to do the right thing. You will just do it. When people search for miracles, winners practice the first drill thousands of times until they cannot get it wrong. That is real power, not the glitter of something new, but the unshakable strength of something old. Do you know how many three-point shots Kobe Bryant took every day? Hundreds. But before that, he practiced short-range shots thousands of times. He turned the basics into something that ran in his blood. You want to be stronger. Never drop the basics. You want to be steadier. Repeat the basics. You want to be unbeatable. Live the basics. That is the goal, to make your basics pure instinct. No thought, no forcing. They just happen. But a warning. The moment you think I am too good for the basics is the moment you start getting weaker. Do not let the new distract you. Do not let confidence become carelessness. My message is simple. Greatness is not doing it right once. Greatness is doing it right every time. Repeat the basics every day until they become instinct. And be ready, because even when your basics are running through your veins, there will be days your mind wants to quit. There will be mornings you wake up and do not want to continue. In Chapter 10, I will show you how to overcome those moments of weakness. Not just survive them, but turn them into fuel. Fuel to keep winning. Chapter 10. Build the resilience to win in any situation. Listen carefully. Winners are not always the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to break. True resilience does not appear when everything goes your way. It shows up when everything falls apart. I have seen this on the field. A team leads 3-0, but when the opponent scores one goal, they lose their composure, they start arguing, they lose control, and in the end, they lose 3-4. Not because they were weaker, but because they lack the resilience to handle pressure. Hear me, anyone is strong when the sea is calm, but when the storm comes, only resilience keeps you standing. Here's the mistake most people make. They are confident only when things go according to plan. They panic when the unexpected happens. They quit at the first shock. The result, golden opportunities lost. Being overtaken by others even after a strong start. Turning themselves into half-finished talents. I remember David, a boxer. He had a devastating punch. But when hit back, he lost control. He abandoned his technique. He charged in wildly, and he lost. It was not his opponent's punch that defeated him. It was the shock inside his mind. Understand this: resilience does not magically appear when you need it. It is built piece by piece in the most ordinary moments. Many believe resilience is forged only in extreme situations. Wrong. You build it in everyday life. When you choose to run in the rain, when you keep studying despite a bad mood, when you keep a promise to yourself, even when no one is watching. Every such act is a brick. You lay them one by one, and one day you have a wall no storm can break. I remember Mark, a firefighter. He told me that in 10 years on the job, he faced only a few truly dangerous fires. But his resilience did not come from those moments. It came from ordinary shifts, cleaning equipment, climbing ladders, checking hoses, every single day. So when the biggest fire of his life came, his body reacted like a perfectly programmed machine. No panic, no hesitation, just action. Listen, you cannot expect resilience to show up if you never train it when no one is watching. So how do you build resilience? 3 steps. Step 1, accept the worst-case scenario. It sounds strange, but if you are already prepared for the worst, nothing can shock you. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen If it happens, will you still be alive? Will you still have a chance to fight? If the answer is yes, keep going. Resilience begins with not fearing the truth. Step 2. Train calmness under pressure. Pressure makes people lose their minds, but only if they let it control them. When chaos hits, pause for a beat. Breathe deeply. Keep your eyes steady. Control your voice. Do not let your body language betray you. You cannot win if your body and mind are pulled in opposite directions. Step 3. Find a way to counterattack even a small one. You do not need to wait for perfect conditions to strike back. All you need is one forward step to regain initiative. Like a warrior being pushed back, he does not have to win immediately. He just needs to plant his feet and strike once. That is how you get your momentum back. That is how you turn the fight around. Resilience is not no fear. Resilience is feeling fear, but acting anyway. Fear of loss, but still trying. Fear of pain, but still moving forward. I once coached a startup team. They were brilliant when funding was flowing. But when cash got tight and pressure rose, they lost their composure. They argued, they blamed, and the project died. Not because the idea was bad, but because their resilience was weak. Picture a rower at sea. When the water is calm, anyone can row. But when the waves rise, only the one who keeps rhythm, breathes right, and paces their strength, survives. Resilience is the survival skill in rough waters. I remember a goalkeeper named Chris. He conceded a goal in the first minute, but he did not collapse. He smiled, he took a deep breath, and he played the rest of the match as if nothing had happened. His team won. That is resilience, not because he was never hit, but because he never let the hit destroy his spirit. Someone once asked me, how do you not break when everything falls apart? The answer, get up faster than you fall. Ordinary people fall, stay down, think pity themselves. Resilient people fall, stand up immediately, reset their stance, and move on. You cannot control every fall, but you can control how long you stay down. I remember a tennis final. Alex, the world number 1, lost the first set badly. Everyone thought he would collapse, but he entered the second set as if nothing had happened. He changed strategy, he stayed calm, and he won the match. That is the power of resilience, not muscle strength, mental strength built long before the match. Resilience is not just for winning, it is to survive until the opportunity arrives. When pressure hits, you will hear a voice in your head, quit, it is not worth it. Resilience is having another voice answer, keep going. You have come too far to turn back. Here is your training. Every day, do one uncomfortable thing that is good for you. When you want to stop, go 1 more minute. When you want to quit, finish 1 more small part. This is how you teach your brain that you will not go down easily. Resilience is a mental muscle. You must train it every single day. Hear this: victory does not belong to those who never get knocked down. Victory belongs to those who never stay down. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is forged through every hardship. Each time you get back up, you add a layer of armor. Each time you stay calm, you add a sword to your hand. One day, nothing can pierce you. Remember 3 things. The storm will come, you will be hit, and you can still win if you do not break. You can be the smartest, fastest, most talented person, but without resilience, you will lose to someone tougher than you. Talent takes you to the top. Resilience keeps you there. Here is the truth. Talent creates opportunities. Resilience turns opportunities into victories. I do not say this to scare you. I say it to prepare you. So when hardship comes, you will not ask, why me? You will say, I have been waiting for this. And here is the final line. Resilience does not keep you out of the storm. It carries you through the storm and keeps you standing. But once you have resilience, there is still one more step, knowing how to use it to lead others. That is the ultimate victory. You've made it through 10 chapters, 10 principles, 10 bullets to win in any situation, all leading to one simple truth. Victory doesn't come from luck. Victory comes from discipline and action. You don't need extraordinary talent. You just need to show up every day until it becomes instinct. You already know what you need to do. The real question is, will you dare to do it? The world out there will not stop and wait for you. Opportunities will not knock twice. The strong will take their share. The weak will be left behind. Right now, don't close this video and slip back into old habits. Choose one principle from these 10 and start today. Write it down. Do it now. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start and the inspiration will follow. Picture this. 6 months from now, you wake up in the morning. You control your day. You no longer panic under pressure. You finish everything you start. You are strong, disciplined, and unbreakable. And when someone asks what changed you, you'll smile and say, I started on this very day.